You're all cool. Beautiful. So just take a moment to arrive into the space that you created for your yoga practice this evening. Just taking some time to lay your body on your mat, finding your opening form, whether that be with legs extended. Maybe you prefer to have your feet flat on the floor and your knees bent. And you take up some space with the arms, allowing them to release beside your body. And if they're turning the palms up towards the ceiling, and just for a moment, find some energy in through the fingers to really spread them away from one another. And then on an exhale, you can release that effort through the hands. Allow your fingers to gently curl, wiggling out through the jaw, the back of your teeth, softening the space between your eyebrows. And thinking of growing a little bit taller out through the crown of your head to lengthen through the back of your neck. If it feels safe to do so, you can allow your eyes to gently close. Otherwise, just allow your gaze to become heavy to a point above you. Just beginning here to notice the movement of your breath. Noticing what it feels like in your body this evening as you draw in an inhale. Equally noticing what it feels like in your body to exhale. Where is it that you feel the sensation of breath this evening? Once you identify that space, can you allow your awareness to heavily set first in that space where you feel breath, but next in the areas around it? And then invite that awareness to grow into the areas that surround this concept of breath. So for example, if you heavily feel breath moving into the chest, notice the collarbones, notice the shoulders, notice the lower rib cage, and expand the breath energetically through awareness in through that space. So it's as if we're allowing the breath here to really expand, to grow within our own bodies energetically. So just noticing, just observing, trying to do so with lack of judgment. It's simply an observation. Where is it that breath most heavily resonates for you this evening? And then on your next exhale, really release any control of your mind or awareness of breath here. Coming back to simply allowing breath to move in and out without any control. And just notice if there was a shift. Perhaps that moment of control and that moment of release has energetically shifted where we feel this idea of breath. So just another moment of observation here. Breath moving in and out, anchoring our mind to the present, to our mats. And then the next time your inhale arrives, can you take the biggest breath you possibly can? And then at the top of that breath, inhale again. And then as you exhale, allow that breath to release out through the mouth, sighing heavy and weight into the back of your body. Inhaling, take a big, deep breath. Feel the entire midsection expand. At the very top of that breath, invite a second inhalation. And then exhale, a gentle sigh, weight releases through the back of your body. And then taking that one last time. Inhaling completely and fully. Inhaling that second time. And then exhaling, full release. surrendering completely to your mat. Moving here into your yogic breath, the next inhale draws breath up from the low belly. Feel the expansion of the lower rib cage, shoulders heavily melt into the mat as your breath floats up to the top of your chest. As you exhale, space is created from the bottom of your earlobes and shoulders. The rib cage tucks in and the navel draws in and up. Filling the entire midsection with breath on every inhale. And every exhale finds further surrender, release, allowing yourself to completely be absorbed by your mat. So noticing here how the breath now is moving, lots of control over breath at this point. Once again, just for a moment with breath moving in and out with shape, noticing where it is that you feel the sensation. We'll use that space within our own individual bodies to anchor awareness this evening. So if your mind begins to wander, come back to this space. Come back to where it is that breath is anchored within your own body. Inhaling all the way to the top of the lungs. And exhaling, sinking heavy shoulders, sitting bones, backs of your legs, down to the heels. If your knees are bent, one leg at a time, let's lengthen the legs to the bottom corners of your mat. And then from there, without offering any movement within your physical body quite yet, can you simply feel the tops of your toes, the outer edges of your fingers, and the entire front of your face? Notice what sensation comes up there as we shift awareness to the outer edges of our body. As you exhale next, take that awareness down the backs of your legs once again until you reach all 10 of your toes, the top of all of them. And then from there, begin to spread the toes far away from one another. And then exhale, release that effort through the toes. Inhale, draw the toes up towards your shins. Press out through your heels as if you're standing and grow a little bit longer out of the backs of your legs. And then exhale, release that effort and begin to take whatever movement feels nice in through the ankles, in through the feet. Maybe you continue to spread the toes or point and flex the feet. Perhaps you choose to take circles through the ankle joints. The next time you inhale, can you draw all of the toes up towards your shins once again? Allow some energy here through the feet so that the heels actually lift away from the mat. Heavily press your calves into the ground. And then as you exhale, soften that effort. One knee at a time, bend the knee to take your feet to the floor, about hip distance apart. If you prefer to take the ankles a little bit wider, you can take them to the long edge of your mat and allow the knees to spill in towards one another to support the low back. Wherever it is, lower body is anchored, lower body finds stillness once again. Exhale, shift awareness now to the edges of all of your fingers equally. Begin to spread the fingers wide. Find space between each individual digit. And as you exhale, curl the fingers inwards. Wrap the thumbs around strongly. Begin to take some circles in through both of your wrists. Take those circles in either direction. Elbows begin to bend. Backs of your arms pressing into the mat. Take one more big full inhalation here. And then as you exhale, float the arms overhead as if you're reaching towards the top of your mat. You can soften the elbows or have full extension depending on where you're at.
Allow the backs of your hands to rest on the ground above your head. And then as you inhale, reach out through the fingers as if you're growing space through the entire side body, left and right equally. And then exhale, soften the elbows, release that effort. Inhale, find that extension out of the fingers. Can you still keep space between the shoulder blades and the earlobes? And then exhale, soften to your mat. One last time, finding that inhale, allowing the upper arms to really release away from the arm sockets or the shoulder sockets rather. And then exhale, soften the elbows, press the entire backside of your arm into the mat. If it feels nicer to take the elbows in line or below the shoulders, that's an option as well. And then with the arms rooted, the lower body rooted, let's take awareness to the face and to the neck and the jaw. Can you begin to rock your head softly, side to side? Just like we do with our lower body in much of our classes, can you allow this movement of the head to be paired or dictated by your breath? So allow the exhale to travel the head to one side. Your inhale to draw your gaze up through center. And the exhale to take the gaze in the opposite direction. So working this evening through posterior chain or the entire backside of our body, will be working from the lower half all the way up. Good. When your gaze comes through center next, we'll pause there. Begin to wiggle out the jaw. Make all kinds of funny faces here. Scrunch up the face and then allow it to relax. We'll do that a few more times. Draw the eyebrows down, draw the cheekbones up, find that engagement through the face. And then exhale, wiggle out the jaw, soften everything now down to the mat. And then use your next inhale to draw one knee at a time in towards your upper body. Squeeze your inner thighs in towards one another. And then wrap your arms around to take hold of either behind the thighs or onto the shins. Just rock it out there gently side to side. As you rock softly here, left to right, can you become acutely aware of the rise and the fall of your body away from the mat? So notice when the low back begins to lift. Notice when it comes down to find support once again. Can you observe the movement through the low spine and then into the mid spine and into the shoulders? We'll come back through center. Invite an inhale with the knees drawn close to your body. And as you exhale, float the feet down to touch the mat once again, hip distance apart, and draw the arms wide, shoulder height or lower. Our palms are spun up towards the ceiling. Can you imagine dropping the shoulder blades here away from the earlobes, as if we're tucking one shoulder blade at a time away from the ears and then in towards the spine. As you do that, notice how the mid to low back arched away from the mat. I'd like you to draw the navel in towards the spine and see about pressing the low spine in towards the mat. We're trying to reduce that scoop in through the low back. Inhale, press through the feet, fill the belly with breath. And then exhale, take the knees over towards the right and allow them to settle and rest. So you decide here if the spacing between your feet is okay, if it feels okay to have the knees hover. Some of you might prefer to take that top leg, guide it on top of the bottom, so inner thighs squeeze towards one another. Wherever you're at, that left shoulder is anchoring you down. The option of taking your gaze to float over towards the left, taking your supine twist. Noticing the energy of that left shoulder blade rooting down. Is there space there to further release the shoulder into the mat? Can you find space between the left lower rib cage and the top of your left hip? As you inhale next, fill the breath or the belly with breath. Exhale a little bit more weight into wherever your body is connected to your mat. And then as you inhale, use that breath to draw your knees up through center. Root your feet first before you move over to the other side. And then exhale, take the knees over to the left. And just take a moment to settle into this space, opposite side. Observing that right shoulder. Deciding if that right leg needs to come on top of the left, or if you prefer that spacing between the feet. Breathe into the entire right side body. Find that space between the hip and the lower rib. And as you exhale, wherever your body is connected to the mat, we sink further release into that space. Invite that next inhale to guide your knees and your gaze back through midline. Once you're there, to reset the spine, let's guide the knees in towards the upper body once again. Heavily press the low back in towards the ground. If it feels nice, you can rock, or you can simply hold in stillness, focusing on lengthening the tailbone to the bottom of your mat as the knees draw close. If you found a rocky motion, let's come back into stillness. And then on your next exhale, softly release the feet down to the mat. Walk the heels comfortably close to the body. Let's keep a little bit of space in between the knees, so just above the hip bones. And then maybe we take our hands, our fingers rather, to graze the back of our heels or aiming towards. Can you spread the fingers and evenly press some weight into all of your fingertips here? And then exhale, soften that effort. Notice the back of your arms pressing into the ground. Inhale, reach the fingers, press through the feet. Maybe the low back lifts a little bit away from the mat here. And then exhale, soften the effort, allow the back of your arms to relax. One last time. Draw the heels towards the sitting bones, fingers towards the heels. Find a bit of effort or posterior tilt to the pelvis, as if it's peeling up towards the shoulder blades. And then exhale, find somewhere in between, release the effort of the mid back, and then take your hands to the hip joints. Good. You can allow the backs of your arms to still be supported on the mat here. As you inhale, think of that tailbone peeling up towards the shoulder blades, just like you do in your cow spine when we're on all fours. And as you exhale, begin to draw the navel in towards the spine, lengthen the tailbone to the bottom of your mat, and the navel draws in towards the low back. Inhale, find that space or that release and lift from the low back. And then exhale, we find a bit of effort as the low back is guided towards the mat. So one last time, the inhale finds that forward tilt of the pelvis. The exhale finds the backward tilt. Low spine presses towards the mat. And then from there, just find somewhere in between. You can wiggle at the hips if you'd like. Allow the hands to come to rest on the belly space, beside one another, backs of your arms pressing into the mat. As you inhale, can you press the hands away from the body as if they're being pressed up towards your ceiling? As you exhale, can you allow the hands to heavily fall into the belly as the navel draws in? So just taking an opportunity here to find connection to our breath once again. A few more rounds, moving with your own flow. The inhale presses up, the exhale draws you down. The next time you've completed your exhale, let's inhale and guide that right knee in towards the body. Take your hands behind the thigh for support, but let's keep the arms soft still. So nice generous bend into the elbows. Inhale, lengthen that right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, sink that right thigh heavy into its socket. From there, it's beginning to point and flex the feet, wiggle out the toes. Take some circles through the ankle joint in both directions. And then once again, let's notice the back of this right leg. So as you inhale, can you press the heel up towards your ceiling and find length through the hamstring and through the calf? As you exhale, can you soften the knee, allow the thigh to fall heavy? Inhale, find a bit of effort here through the back of the leg. Exhale, soften the knee, allow the thigh to release. One last time. Inhaling, pressing out through your heel, grow long through the back of that leg. And this time as you exhale, we're gonna point the toes, draw the knee in towards the upper body. Keep both hands here for support, and then lengthen that left leg down to the bottom of your mat. Draw the toes up on that extended leg. And then from there, let's also draw the right toes up. See about drawing the ankle in line with the right knee. So coming into wind relieving pose. So using upper body to guide this right knee closer to the body. Continue to lengthen out through the back of your left leg. Can you think about dropping the shoulder blades into the mat even further than they already are? The energetic connection is always drawing the back of your body down for now. Wiggle out the jaw. Notice if you're clenching through the back of your teeth. As you inhale next, begin to fill that full breath. And as you exhale, slowly begin to lengthen this right leg down to the bottom of your mat until it rests beside the left. Just for a moment, noticing the back of the right leg in comparison to the back of your left leg. Inhale, float both knees now first in towards the body. Lengthen the tailbone, low spine presses into your mat. Exhale, softly land both soles of your feet to the ground. Inhale, draw that left knee in towards the body. Hands come behind the thigh, elbows are soft. And then lengthen that left leg up towards your ceiling. Allowing the left thigh to fall heavy now. Right foot is on the mat for a bit of support. Beginning to wiggle out the left toes. Point and flex the foot. Take some circles through the ankle joints. First clockwise and then counterclockwise. Noticing the back of the hamstring, back of your calf, even the back of your kneecap, the whole back of your left leg. And as you inhale, begin to find that effort by pressing out through the left foot as if you're trying to get your footprint on the ceiling above you. And then as you exhale, softly bend the knee, think of the thigh falling heavy into the hip socket. Inhale, grow a little bit longer out of the back of this left leg. Exhale, soften that effort. Inhale one last time. Draw the left toes up, lots of energy out through that left heel. And then as you exhale, point the left toes, begin to guide to the left knee in towards the upper body. Upper arms are there to help. Keeping that left knee drawn in, let's mindfully release that right leg down to the bottom of your mat. Once you're there, draw the toes up. Keep some activity and extension of the right side. And then from there, begin to float that left ankle in line with the left knee, looking to form a 90-degree angle or so here. Toes are drawn up as the upper body guides the knee closer to the left shoulder. Observing the back of your right leg. Keep the shoulders dropped. Keep that breath nice and full. If your mind has wandered, come back to that space that you identified at the start of your practice. That space within your body where you heavily feel the sensation of breath. Let's all breathe into our individual awareness or experience with breath. And then exhale, root down through the back of your body a little bit further. Inhale, fill the entire breath. And then exhale, mindfully begin to release this left leg down to meet the right. Once you're there, you can find whatever movement might come into the lower body. Maybe shake out the legs or rock the ankles side to side. Notice now the heels equally, left and right. The calves, left and right. Backs of your knees, left and right. Hamstrings, left and right. And sitting bones, left and right. As you inhale, let's take first the left foot to the mat, then the right. Begin to guide the knees from there in towards the upper body. Let's take them a little bit wider than usual, so a little bit wider than hips. Arms can come to the outside of the legs. And then from there, allow the inner thighs to fall heavy up towards the ceiling. Heels fall heavy in towards the sitting bones. Begin to offer a bit of a gentle rock here, side to side. You can allow the bicep and tricep strength to really begin to guide the knees a little bit closer towards the mat. Either holding in stillness or finding that rocking motion, whatever suits. Inhaling, low belly, mid belly, chest. Exhaling, shoulders, mid spine, low spine. Inhaling, begin to guide the knees now in towards one another. Rock onto your favorite side, and then use that top hand to gently guide yourself up into your easy seat. Perfect. So noticing your sitting bones as you come into your easy seat and seeing if you can really work this evening to transfer weight equally from left and right and equally front to back as well. So maybe rock weight forward, side to side or back, and find that sweet spot of balance. And then once you arrive there, you can think of drawing the lower rib cage towards the hip bones to find a bit of core contraction, length through the low back, soften the shoulders, and allow your hands just for a moment to rest on the thighs. Spin the palms up towards the ceiling. Imagine your chin being level to the ground beneath you. A bit of lift out of the crown of your head. As you inhale, just take a moment to experience breath now in the seated position. As you exhale, can you relax through the inner thighs and allow roots down through the sitting bones. Inhale, envisioning lifting out of the crown of the head. Find that space between the lower ears, the tops of your shoulders. Exhale, take that awareness down the spine and into your sitting bones. As you inhale next, begin to draw the arms overhead with the breath. At the top of your breath, your fingertips gently touch. As you exhale, soft bend to the elbows, trace the midline of your body with the hands as you come to heart center. Inhale, spread the fingers this time. Find that space between each individual digit. Pause at the top of the breath, palms spin towards one another. Let's try to keep them about shoulder width apart here. And then inhale again. Reach the fingers up away from the body. Allow the shoulders now to lift towards your earlobes. And then exhale, drop the shoulders down the spine. Inhale, lift out of the side body, equally left and right. Allow the shoulders to creep up. And then exhale, slide the shoulder blades down the spine. Inhale, find a big stretch through the left and right side body. As you exhale, turn the right palm away from the body and begin to tip over into your seated side stretch. Let's see about hugging the arm to the inside of that left ear. Drop the shoulders away from the earlobes. There's still space through the side of our necks. That bottom arm is soft, gentle bend to the elbow. As you inhale next, slowly begin to come up through center, palms face one another. Grow tall out of the side body, spin the left palm away. Exhale, gently land it onto the mat. Begin to reach the right arm over. Draw that right shoulder slightly back.
Keep the neck nice and long. Soften that bottom supporting elbow. Good. Press into the right sitting bone, find that space. And then as you inhale, slowly come back up through center at the top of your breath. Turn the palms away from the body. Exhale, let's take them to our wrist or shoulder height or lower. Inhale, reach the fingers away from the body. Imagine the shoulder blades releasing or wrapping to the front. And then exhale, press the heart forward, draw the shoulders back. Inhale, reach the fingers forward. Exhale, draw the shoulders back as if you're broadening through the collarbone. Inhale, reaching forward, draw the navel in towards the spine. Exhale, lift out of the rib cage, draw the shoulders back, and then begin to land the fingers onto the ground just in front of your body. And then one hand at a time, begin to guide yourself softly into your seated forward fold. So you decide if you'd like length through the elbows, or if it feels better in your body to bend the elbows and allow the spine to round slightly. Both are fine variations. Again, it's just a matter of preference, a matter of what you prefer. So taking a few moments to find the form or the shape that you need for your seated forward fold, guiding yourself gently into that space, and then allowing the body to come into some point of stillness. So the hands are still there for support. Maybe the elbows are bent and not supporting, but we're taking ourselves into a point of stillness where you begin to feel some stretch, but something that's maintainable. In both variations, it might feel nice to wiggle out the jaw, release your tongue, softly swallow, maybe even nod the head yes, shake the head no. Wherever it is that you're feeling this in your body, can you direct your breath into that space? Use the breath to envision the muscles softening and letting go. Use your next inhale to begin to transition out of this seated forward fold. So slowly slide the hands in towards your body. Once again, grow nice and tall. Good. And then from there, you can take your hands onto your lap. You can spin your palms up towards the ceiling if that feels nice. Inhale, find that nice long spine that we found when we first came into our seated position. And then as you exhale, begin to tip the right ear over towards the right shoulder. Keep the chin slightly lifted away from the collarbone space. And notice sensation that begins to come up through the back of the left shoulder, maybe even through the side of the neck. Can you envision that right shoulder falling even heavier down the spine, all the way into the sitting bones? At any point this becomes too much, feel free to release. Otherwise, we're going to breathe into sensation. So wherever it is that you're feeling this, breath is directed to that space. The exhale finds release. Use your next inhale to begin to guide your gaze up through center. Chin becomes level to the ground beneath you. Draw the shoulder blades slightly back. And then exhale, take the left ear gently over towards that left shoulder. It might be different on this side, so just taking a moment to settle and be aware. Where is it that you feel this in your body? For me, it's in the back of my right shoulder, a little bit in through the neck. Can you allow that left shoulder to fall a bit heavier, a little bit more weight, drawing you over? Keep the jaw soft, chin lifted. Take your next inhale to transition out of this by lifting the gaze back through center, chin level to the ground beneath. Inhale, breathe into the collarbone space. Exhale, gently tuck the chin until you find that level of sensation through the back of the neck that's okay for you. Shoulder blades are drawing back, the chin is slightly tucked. You decide how far you need to go here. Upper arm bones continue to peel in towards one another. Shoulders continue to draw down towards the sitting bones. Big inhale through the front of your body. Full exhale down the back of your body. Inhale, begin to lift the chin away from the collarbones. Wiggle at the shoulders, draw them first back, left and right, and then forward, left and right, left and right. Come back to your neutral spine. Inhale, bring the arms overhead. As you exhale, spin the palms forward and take the wrist in line with the shoulders. Let's bring that right arm across the body, palm faces behind, left arm's there for support. Let's drop that right shoulder blade away from the earlobe and then begin to gently twist over towards the left. Can you envision here the right shoulder blade peeling away from the spine and wrapping towards the front of your body? So it's as if we're creating space here between the scapula and the spinal column. Chin is still level to the ground beneath us. We're still lifting and growing tall out of the crown of our heads. Sitting bones are still equally rooted, left and right, front to back. So all these subtle shifts, all these subtle changes, is simply allowing presence to be aware, using those changes to anchor us. Beginning to unwind as you inhale next. Release both shoulders. Wiggle them out if that feels nice. And then inhale, bring the arms overhead, spin the palms forward. Exhale, take the wrist in line with the shoulders. Left arm comes across now, palm spins behind the body. Right arm's there to help guide it. Drop that left shoulder down towards your sitting bone. Inhale, grow taller out of the crown of your head. Exhale, begin to twist from the mid-spine over towards the right. Shoulders separating away from the spinal column. Notice if the weight has shifted backwards. If so, can you think about tucking the lower ribs towards the top of the hip bones? So keep that core stable, spine long, jaw soft, breath full. Big inhale through the nose and full exhale through your nose. As you inhale next, find lift out of the crown of your head. And then begin to unwind. Coming back through center. Release the grip of the arms, release the grip of the shoulders. Gently rock it out by guiding the shoulders first back and then forward to even it out. And then in your own way, let's come on to hands and knees, finding our tabletop pose. Good. So once you're in your tabletop pose, just take a look down at our hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. And let's see about finding equal space or aiming to be equal space between each individual finger here. Once you have that, let's press a bit of weight into the knuckle mound of the index finger, and then into the knuckle mound of the pinky finger, and then into the knuckle mound of your thumbs. As you inhale, can you allow the pelvis to tilt forward, soften the belly, and then draw the shoulder blades towards your sitting bone. As you exhale, let's tuck the tailbone under, draw the navel in and up, and allow the chin to come towards your collarbone space. Inhale, soften the heart forward, tilt the pelvis, come into your cow pose. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, breathe into the upper back to come into cat. Just taking a few more rounds here, moving through cat and cow, being dictated by the flow of your own breath. And then coming through a neutral spine or somewhere in between. Think of lengthening the tailbone towards your heels. Draw your shoulder blades towards your sitting bones. Notice here the top of the back space. So right across the tops of your shoulders. And then as you inhale, can you breathe into the upper arms and gently arch through the upper back, as if the shoulder blades are releasing away from the spinal column. As you exhale, can you think of the heart slightly surrendering forward and the shoulder blades pinching in towards the spine? Inhale, press the mat away, heavy breath into the upper back space as the shoulders broaden. And then exhale, allow them to retract. Draw your shoulder blades in towards the spine. And then taking a few more breaths, simply focusing in through the upper back space there. The inhale finds that expansion. Your exhale finds that retraction. One last time. Press the mat away, breathe heavily into the upper arms. And then when you exhale, let's come back into our neutral spine, tabletop pose, and just take a few rounds here of cat and cow, or maybe take some circles through the hips, shifting weight forward and back. Find release here in through the back side of your body, however that needs to arrive for you. And actually, let's take a generous handful of breaths here doing so. They're really tuning in to what movement may feel nice for you. And then generously allowing yourself to move into that space. Staying with that full and even breath. Using that breath to anchor our wandering minds. And then from there, coming back through a neutral tabletop pose. As you exhale, let's take that right elbow down to the mat underneath the shoulder and see if we can keep that right wrist in front of the right elbow. As you exhale again, offer that left elbow underneath the left shoulder, left wrist above the elbow. From there, let's tuck both toes, or all of our toes, and then lengthen first that right leg to the back of the mat. Really energetically press out through the heel. And then inhale, lengthen the opposite leg, bend the knees, come onto your belly space. Softly untuck the toes. Good. So coming into Sphinx pose. Let's think about drawing the elbows towards the hip bones. And let's think about the pinky edge of both hands pressing towards the outside or long edge of your mat. Draw the shoulder blades in towards the spine here, as if they're pinching inwards. Beautiful, lots of work here, so breathing slowly into it. Keep that full, even breath. Lastly, let's draw the low belly space away from the mat. Guide it in towards the spine. Try to keep the glutes soft. If you're here and you need a little bit more, let's lengthen the right hand towards the top corner of the mat, followed by the left. Press heavily into the fingers. Keep the core active as you lengthen the tailbone, coming to seal pose. Or either in seal with the elbows extended, or in Sphinx with the elbows bent. Beautiful. Use the next exhale, if you're in seal with your elbows extended, to softly take a bend into both elbows. Guide yourself back into your Sphinx. And then from there, one hand at a time, let's lengthen towards the top of the mat, come right onto our bellies just for a moment.
Allow your forehead to come to the mat, bend the knees, and gently rock the legs side to side to release. From there, let's bend the elbows, take the hands underneath the shoulders. Allow the feet to come once again to the mat, keep the toes tucked. As you inhale, guide yourself up onto your knees. As you exhale, untuck the toes, press into the hands, and guide yourself into your child's pose. Allow your forehead to come to rest onto something. So either stacked fists, onto a pillow, onto a block, or onto your mat. Elbows can be extended, elbows can be bent, whatever it is that suits your needs this evening is just perfect. Take the opportunity to come to reconnect to your breath. So inhale into the front side of your body. Exhale, wrap that breath around the shoulders and down the spine and heavily into your sitting bones. Inhale, press into your hands, gently look forward, and then begin to walk your hands in towards the body. Take the knees in towards one another. Spill over onto either hip, left or right, until you come into a seated staff pose. So sitting bones on the ground, legs extended in front of you. You can have your hips on a block or a pillow if you prefer. And you can have a gentle bend to the knees if that feels better for your low back or for the backs of your legs. As you inhale, drop the shoulders, lift out of the crown of your head. As you exhale, can you think about hinging from the hip bones? Keep the shoulders drawing back. Lead with the chest as you come into a bit of a fold. Inhale, grow tall into the crown of your head. Exhale, take the fingers to the outside of either leg. Tense the fingers, press heavily into all of your fingertips as you inhale, grow tall. As you exhale, soften the elbows, keep the spine long and hinge forward. Inhale, press into the fingertips. Exhale, hinge a little bit deeper. So from here, let's find the edge of your forward fold. Begin to notice the back of the legs. Notice the spine, notice the shoulders. The entire backside of your body here is working. We're finding a bit of an active version of our forward fold for the first 30 seconds or so. For the second half of your pose, the option of staying here with activity or allowing the upper body to release. You can take your hands to either the thighs, the shins, the ankles, the feet, wherever you'd like, and you can begin to spill a little bit deeper if you prefer. Notice where you're holding on to effort. And unless that's a choice, can you use your breath to wiggle out that effort? Allow your body to completely surrender here, as if you're standing and we're in a ragdoll forward fold. We're allowing the upper body here to release over the lower body. So I suppose a seated ragdoll fold. Either way, we're breathing awareness heavily into the back of our body, top to bottom, bottom to top. As you inhale, we'll begin to lift out of the pose. Draw the shoulders back, bend to the right knee, and guide the foot to either the outside of the calf or the inside, or inside both ways rather, of the left leg. Let's draw the toes up, grow nice and tall, allow that right knee to fall wide. As you exhale, begin to spill over that extended left leg, coming into your unilateral stretch. Hands come wherever they need to be for you to have your best experience here. So either outside of both legs or taking your grip towards your toes, your shin, your calf. Allow the upper body to begin to completely release over the lower body. And as you hold,
noticing the space you've created and allowing your upper body to fall even heavier. We'll take one more full round of breath here. And then as you inhale, begin to guide yourself out of the one side stretch. Lengthen that right leg. Bend the left knee. Take the foot to the outside, inside of the leg. Allow the knee to still open. Draw the right toes up. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, release over the leg. Again, hands wherever they need to be to find comfort, to find support. And as you hold, envisioning the front of your body growing so heavy that it draws down towards the leg. Observing the points in your body where sensation arrives. Directing your breath into those spaces. Use your next inhale to begin to lift yourself out of your fold. Slowly, slowly, slowly. There's no rush. And then once you're out, lengthen now the left leg beside the right. Guide yourself slowly onto your back. Use your upper body to help support. Make sure you have space there to come all the way onto your back. And then once you're on your back, you can begin to guide your knees in towards the upper body. Squeeze the inner thighs in towards one another. Before moving any further, can you simply envision the tailbone growing a little bit longer, the spine lengthening towards the bottom of your mat. So at this point, we should be completely supported in our back. Length through the back of the neck, support through the middle of our shoulders, mid-back and lower back connected to the ground. Let's exhale. Slowly release one foot at a time to meet your mat. Notice the mid and low back release away from the mat. Open the arms wide, palms spin up. Inhale deeply into the front of your body. Exhale, take the knees over to the right. Allow them to rest. You decide if you'd like your gaze neutral or over that left shoulder. Whatever variation of your fold you're taking here, your twist rather, let's try to find the least amount of effort. Wherever your body is touching the mat, can you spill energy into those spaces and allow yourself to grow heavier? We'll take just another moment or so here on this side. And then as you inhale, you can use that breath very slowly. Lift yourself up through center. And then exhale, knees over to the left. Allow them to fall heavy. Gaze neutral or gaze to the right. Once again, noticing where your body is touching the mat. Exhaling, weight into the points where you are supported. Falling a bit heavier every breath.
And the next breath or so, you can use that inhale to lift your way back through your neutral spine. Knees come up, gaze floats along. Guide the hands a little bit closer to the body. And then lengthen the feet to the bottom corners of your mat. And guide yourself into the form that you'd like to take for Shavasana. Just for a moment, wiggle out the heels, wiggle out through the hips, the shoulders, gently rock the head side to side. And then take everything into a point of stillness. Let's shift our awareness to the heels. Notice the calves, backs of the knees, hamstrings and sitting bones. Observe the low back, mid back, and shoulders. Down the backs of your arms, elbows, backs of your hands. And then find that space on the back of your head where your weight falls most heavy. And surrender even deeper into that space. Observing the rise and the fall of your breath, now effortlessly moving in and out in its own pace. For the next few minutes here together, let's find Shavasana. Noticing the tops of your toes, edges of your hands. Beginning to take tiny movements and through your feet and through your hands. Allow the jaw to soften, your head to gently move. Slowly take one foot at a time to first connect with the mat. Maybe you draw them in towards the upper body. Prepare to rock onto your favorite side. Cradle your head into your upper arm. And take a breath on your side. Using your next inhale, begin to guide yourself gently up into your easy seat. Allow your gaze to stay nice and soft still. As you inhale next, draw the arms overhead. Allow the hands to gently touch. Exhale. Guide the hands towards your heart center. Namaste, everyone.
Thank you.